This is Red Moon Roleplaying.
Masks of Nyarlathotep. Where last we left our investigators, they were mourning the impromptu, violent death of Rupert Carruthers, whose body has now been transported to the railroad station in Concudgery, awaiting the solo train that passes in and out of town. Bertie and Shelby decided they would confront Mortimer Wycroft, the most likely suspect behind Rupert's death, only to discover that he was not present at his store. Instead, it was manned, so to speak, by one of his teenage daughters, the name of whom you did not acquire. She explained that her father was out of town. She didn't allude to when he was returning. And took the news of Rupert's death in, I think it's fair to say, in her stride. The party elected to not take violent action against the girl or her sisters, or indeed the store, instead backing off, deciding that vengeance might be best served cold in this case, or justice if you prefer. Which leads us to the departure from Concudgery, and whether our investigators intend to re-recruit Davina Dodge before she leaves you. I'm going to have all of the investigators now at the station. I'm going to have you all converge in the same place. Davina is surprised to see all of you. She doesn't back away, she's not terrified, but she does look around, maybe wondering if the next knife is going to slide in between someone's ribs. You come to see me off? I'm not sure when the train's arriving. I don't think it runs on a terribly regular schedule. Listen, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of abandoning you in the desert. I didn't want to.
Do you mind if we talk for a minute about that?
Well, I've got nothing but time. I'm not going back into one of those bars.
Certainly, I understand. So first of all, I want to apologize this morning. I was not at my best.
No, love. You don't need to apologise for that. Your friend, my condolences. As I said, he seemed like a nice fella.
Oh, he wasn't. Not at all. He was a cad. But I loved him.
Well, he probably would have fit in well in Australia then.
But he's actually the reason why I wanted to talk to you. Because I did mean what I said. There's every chance that this is all connected. And I could certainly understand wanting to run away from it. I mean, I've had a conversation like that in my head off and on for quite a while. I understand completely. Would even be lying to you if I said I hadn't thought about it today. It's an understandable instinct. And regardless of how this conversation goes, if you still feel like you need to go, I won't hold it against you. I won't think ill of you.
She takes a deep breath, as if to brace herself for the hard sell. Okay. So,
I believe there is something in that desert that is malicious. And I believe that if we don't uncover it and deal with it, it will keep hurting people like Rupert, like McWhirr. This will keep happening. We are in a unique position. We can stop it. And despite how things look this morning, we're not unused to these kinds of horrors, let's say. I will put a hand on Jackson's shoulder. This man's been through a lot. Put my hand on Madeline's shoulder. She's been through a lot. I've been through a lot. But we're still here. And as much as it hurts, and probably will hurt for a long time, what happened to Rupert, the odds are in our favor. And we have the skills, and now with Brady joining us, even more expertise, to make sure nobody else gets hurt. And again, you're just an archaeologist. You said that, and certainly you did not sign up to archaeology to have these kinds of doubts or conversations, and I completely understand that. But also, you may have skills we need to stop this. If you need to go, I totally understand. We have enough knowledge and skill amongst us that we could probably muddle through. And again, the odds have been in our favor so far. But there's a better chance of success if you're with us.
She looks down the railway. No sign of a train yet. Looks back to you. Looks at Madeline, looks at Bertie and Jackson. Listen, mate, I don't really know what you're all into. When Robbo was talking about the photos were one thing, when he was speaking about all of it, I don't know why, but it got me more excited than trepidatious. I think it took seeing Mr. Carruthers' body that brought it all into perspective. I believe you. I believe you're not just a bunch of lunatics. I mean, I've met lunatics. You don't act like lunatics, but you certainly act like you believe what you're saying, and I'm sure there is something malevolent out there. She looks down the railway again, maybe hoping if the train arrives, this will force the decision for me. And then she looks down the platform where various luggage and cargo is gathered, including a pine box, not made of pine. When the big fella arrived, Vic, with Mr. Carruthers' body, he said to me, are you taking him back? And I think I just naturally assumed that would be what you wanted me to do, so I said yes. Truth is, and you now can tell, Shelby, this may be her way out, her excuse. She is intrigued by what you're saying. You can definitely roll to push her over the edge to your side if you want. If you let things flow naturally, her current stance is trains and transit and luggage and bodies. We could put any number of stamps on him. He's not gonna make it back to Sydney, let alone England, unless someone's acting as a chaperone, right?
I kind of just silently for a moment look at both Jackson and then maybe even Miss Hopper, but I don't say anything.
So I've got a question for you, and I think this is going to be the do or die. I want your friend to go to where he belongs, where you think he deserves to go.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the idea that anything bad could happen. But, and I think this is up to you, Mr. Shattuck, I'll come with you, and we take the body, and we find a nice, peaceful place in the desert. We dig a hole, we lay him in there, we set up a marker, you do whatever you have to do, you memorialise him, and then we get on with this bloody journey of ours. But if you want him going back to England, someone's going to need to go back with his body, and right now I'm on knife's edge. So push me one way or the other, mate.
I appreciate your honesty. And I think when we first talked about what to do with Rupert, I was still reacting, still going through the motions, as it were. And so my first reaction was, of course, he'd want to go home. But you bring a really interesting point. Now I'm a little more clear-headed. Rupert was a special person, and I don't just mean that in the sense that of who he was or what he did. He had a love of people that England doesn't appreciate. It's to be honest, it's actually illegal. And he never entirely felt comfortable there. When I convinced him to come with me to Peru, and convince was perhaps the right word, he did not feel comfortable with me going by myself. He forced himself upon me to come with me. But then he met someone, and I think he became a little more his true self. And then he went to Harlem and became a little more of his true self. So I don't think it's entirely fair to say England is where he's home. I think he would appreciate being buried somewhere that was far away from that hatred and bigotry.
She smiles at that. Sounds like it was real cosmopolitan then.
You don't even know.
Let's do it then. If I stood out here all day, I probably would have got sunstroke.
It's us out in the desert. You're much less likely to get sunstroke that way.
At least we'll be in a truck.
I put my hand out for her.
She shakes it again. All right, I won't back out. I won't back out. I'll come with you.
I'm sure he would appreciate it.
And I clear my throat a little at this point and add quietly. And if it helps to reassure you, miss, 2 things. Number 1, from this point, we will be sleeping with one eye open at all times. But more importantly, it's as you said. Even I am not an insanely greedy person. We're not heading out there to set up camp for months, to take every single rock and every single gold coin we find and ship them all off to the nearest buyer. We're there simply to see if it's even there and try and find that one thing, as my friend said, we need. And then we're getting the hell out of there. So no one's going to be diving into any deep, dark tunnels raving about how we have to stay one more day. As soon as there's even a slight hint of trouble, we're getting out of there. But if we even find the place in the first place, that in itself, right, archaeologist? That's what it's all about.
Well, I brought my camera, we got the coordinates. All right. You don't need to convince me. Come on. Let's get this truck.
And just as she walks off, I will just quietly say to Shelby, I respect your decision, but out of interest, did he have any next of kin?
None that he ever spoke of or I believe would accept him.
I just nod. And again, deep down, there is a selfish happiness here because we needed to get going on this expedition. And this is a perfect way of working everything out, especially if Shelby's actually happy about it. So, sure, what do I care where he's buried? Besides, Mr. Shattuck is the one who knows him best. So I just nod. All right then.
Rupert was, as they say, a man of the world. Widely travelled. Visited far more countries than most average Englishmen. And it is with great sorrow, but also pride in having known him, that I lay him to rest, says Jackson. You are now a day into your journey. You are in the desert. You have left Concudgery. You've been travelling northeast. You know that it's going to be a journey that takes several days. You wanted to get far enough away from town. You didn't feel under threat. You have Vic, you have Muldoon with you. Muldoon is a twitchy fellow. He, lives up to his epithet of Mad Ginger. most uncomfortable travelling with him, but even he could pick up the discomfort that everyone shared riding in a truck, sharing it with a coffin. And so, some 50 or 60 miles outside of Concudgery, you finally came to a halt. You started digging a hole. Lowered Rupert's coffin within it. Everyone had the opportunity to say some words. Jackson steps away from the gravesite, pats you on the shoulder, Shelby, stands next to you, Madeline. If any of you have any last words or feelings that you wish to express at the graveside of Rupert Carruthers, do go ahead.
I'll wait to see if anybody else wants to go first.
I will not say any words. After all, I think no matter how I did it, it would come across as crass. I didn't know the man well enough, and I think most people know that I didn't like him. I thought he had a stick up his arse. I thought he was like every toff I've ever met, and he didn't do anything to dissuade me otherwise. However, as I've said, I'm not stupid. I don't want the people I need watching my back turning on me, so I'm not going to make any snide comments or make any false sentiment. The only thing I will do as the others speak is I will take off my hat. I will hold it to my heart. 'Cause I'll give the bastard one thing. See, I always got the sense that he hadn't served like a lot of good and bad men I've known did. Probably got out of it somehow. But it does occur to me, as Shelby said, that in this endeavour, maybe he did go to the front. Maybe he did give his life. Yeah, I reckon he was the kind of fellow who would have given his life for these two. So, just like every other soldier, I'll respect him on that front. So I will stand, my hat over my heart, and briefly to myself, maybe just quietly mutter the words, "In Flanders fields the poppies blow." I'll give him that.
A stiff breeze rolls across the outback. Is there anything Madeline wishes to say, or is she all spoken out?
As I am standing there holding Jackson's hand and I watch the sand swallow Rupert, this is a gift in so many ways that we have this opportunity to say goodbye. That we have this opportunity to walk down the path of closure. That's not an opportunity that we were given with Felix. That's a door that's going to be pried open until if we ever get back to England. And so I should take comfort in this moment, this opportunity, this gift. But I don't, and I can't. I feel guilt. I feel shame. I think about the first time we met Rupert when we walked into that bar in Peru on the Larkin expedition, and I think about I think about Arturo. I'll have to write to Arturo and tell him. And I look at Davina and I think about the handshake that she just took with Shelby, which that handshake was effectively a eulogy because we're out here in the desert facing down ancient curses, diseases, cults of bats that eat faces. And I just think about so many people that we have hurt in pursuit of trying to resolve this. And I think about the people that are going to be hurt in our pursuit to resolve this. And I don't feel calibrated. I don't feel regulated. And I miss Rupert. I miss him a lot. And with that, I can't untangle enough of my emotions in this moment to actually contribute words. And that's something that's probably going to haunt me for years to come, if I make it years to come. Because this is a gift to say goodbye. And I don't even have the courage to unwrap it.
Very well. That just leaves you, Shelby, if there is anything you want to say to your past friend.
I look down at the shell, the remains, what's left of my friend. And I say, Rupert, you are a flawed man. There's no doubt about that. You made mistakes. You sometimes only thought of yourself. But you were also one of the most loyal men I've ever known. Your capacity for love was boundless. Your ability to accept criticism and become better was always there. And as I look at you, I just keep thinking of Tennyson. Forgive my grief, O Lord, for one removed, thy creature whom I found so fair. I trust he lives in thee, and there I find him worthier to be loved. Forgive these wild and wandering cries, confusions of a wasted youth. Forgive them where they fail in truth, and in thy wisdom make me wise. Goodbye, Rupert.
With that, the party move on. This grave site to be indeed swallowed up by the sands. There is a trail that runs alongside it, not quite a road, not quite desert. It's possible you may find it again, someone may find it, a solitary marker standing to mark the place where Rupert has been interred, but equally, given the great expanse of Australia, it's possible no one will ever know that there is a body down there amid the dirt and the rocks. As you roll on, your first day of travel almost approaching its end, and you haven't travelled nearly as quickly as perhaps you thought you might, in large part because of how rough the trail happens to be. This is not some concrete, asphalt, or indeed stone, tarmac, or anything of the like. This is loose rocks, and desert has been parted just sufficiently so that you can see trucks have passed this way before. Davina is occasionally checking a stack of maps that she has, directing. Which of you has the highest drive rating?
I have 29 drive auto.
I have 20.
Same.
So Shelby, you're at the wheel. Davina is occasionally giving you directions, though to be honest, it isn't like you're hit with many junctions and turnings. It's more just, yeah, as long as you can see the trail, we've got to stick to it for probably what I'd guess is the next 3 hours. If you can't see the trail, we'll get a compass and try and work out where we are. And the transit is much like this until the sun starts dimming in the west. Vic rumbles. Probably gonna be wanting to make camp soon. Hey, no, you don't want to make camp out here. There's the Dingo Falls is just close to where we are now. Travel another, I'd say about hour down the road, and
Well, you were the expert, then we keep going.
Dingo, but you should be aware of that in Dingo Falls there's a ghost.
Ah, well, don't you worry, sir. We are experts at warding off ghosts.
You're not going to find Dingo Falls on any map. Let me into the front. I'll make sure we find it. But you should be wary. As I say, there's a ghost there. I saw it with my own eyes. I had to take to drink to drive the images away out of my mind.
I idly nod, being quite used to listening to mad people rant at me, and instead just focused on the outside, one eye always on the horizon, one eye at the back of the vehicle, because again, as I said, I am quite paranoid. And then it's at that point, I do just think to myself, calling to the front of the vehicle. Completely random thing, Miss Dodge. How bilingual are you?
In what respect, love? What language?
Well, Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, or
Hebrew, she says.
Or Arabic.
Listen, mate, there's not many Jews in this desert. You might have got your Bible mixed up.
No, it's... And I reach into my pocket, where something has been forgotten. And in all this silence and awkwardness, I found myself trying to find things to distract myself and noticed it's still there. The inscription that I transcribed down from those scrolls, those now in pieces scrolls we still have somewhere. And it occurred to me that I've completely forgot to find anybody who could read it, and, well, maybe she can't, but now we have a car journey. It's like, oh no, I just said something I needed translated, but if you can't read it, you can't read it.
Well, she nods, she thinks about it a moment and says, well, I could give the Arabic a go. It's been a while since I've had to read any, but when you're at university and studying history, classics, go on, pass it here.
I lean over, past the fine gentleman, still I imagine ranting away, and just hand it to her.
Oh, this is old Arabic. This isn't...
Now, it's transcribed from the original. Unfortunately, the original is extremely delicate.
Well, I could tell that. This isn't an original Arabic hand-in fountain pen. I'll give it my best. I mean, I'm going to have to spend a little bit of time with it maybe tonight.
Of course. Like I said, a little bit of fun homework. I sort of try and laugh at the others in the vehicle.
Vic goes, So I don't know why it's called Dingo Falls as my thing, because when I was there, I didn't see a single dingo. And no dingoes and no falls either. That was a pool of water that I was drinking from when I settled down for the night. It was a lovely place to build a fire, he says, drifting off. Preferable to the company of the only locals out there, a mad drunkard named Slattery and his two strange sons. I tell you, very strange people. You can't trust people who live out in the outback.
Well, sir, if you just tell Mr. Shelby at the front there which way to turn the wheel, we'll head there, and then you can keep telling us about Dingo Falls at Dingo Falls, right, everyone?
Oh, yeah, you want to head that way? That's it. See that rock there that's sticking out the ground, as opposed to the one that's floating in midair? You want to turn left there, and that's it. Take, I suppose it's like a northwesterly direction slightly. We're not doubling back on ourselves, nothing like that, but if you head northwest from here, we should get to Dingo Falls before nightfall.
Did you get that, Shelby?
Turn left at the rock. Got it.
That's it. You've been there before, then?
I'm very good at situational awareness.
Hey, well... Anyway, can I tell all your ghost story? If you're of a mind... If we're going to be camping at Dingo Falls, I mean, it's fresh water. It's probably worth staying there, is my point. It's not too far off the journey, but there's some people there. They might know what you're looking for, is my point. I know this area like the back of my hand. Hell, I probably know it better than the back of my hand. Sometimes I look at the back of my hand, I don't recognise it.
I would love to hear a ghost story.
I briefly look at Madeline and Jackson, seeing what their mood is, but otherwise I'll sit in the back of the vehicle and let this man rant. Maybe I'll even listen.
Jackson has his nose pinched between his thumb and forefinger and is just leaning forward. You're not sure if he's asleep or if he's just trying to stave off a migraine.
Yes, well, what do you reckon, Miss Hopper? In the mood for a ghost story?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, if you're not in the mood, lass, I won't scare you. I mean, it gave me the willies.
And I'm gonna look at Birdie, obviously fully disconnected, probably hasn't been paying attention to anything other than the internal monologue for the last hour. I'd love to hear a ghost story.
I shrug, sit back and go, well, there you are. The floor is yours, Mr. Mad.
Muldoon looks down at the truck floor, looks up at you, Bertie, smiles. Thank you very much. Now, let me set the scene, he says as you're bumping and rocking and bouncing in the back of this truck. I was out prospecting, far into the desert. I felt drawn by the call of Lassiter's gold. You ever heard of Lassiter's gold?
No.
Well, that's another story, but there's gold out here in the outback and a man called Lassiter found it. Needless to say, by the fact that I'm in the back of this truck, I didn't. And Lassiter himself, he went missing. Disappeared. Completely. But that ain't the story I'm telling you. That's like a prologue to the story I'm telling you now. You got that?
I reckon you're a master of the spoken word. You got that, Shelby. You should write some of this down. With his permission, of course.
I would rather this was kept in the heads of listeners and passed on as an oral tradition than penned into some novelist's scratch pad.
Oh, well, there you go, then. Now, you keep going. You keep going.
So I was headed back from my dig. And I got to tell you, I had some aboriginals in my employ for half the way, and then I ran out of money to pay them and they abandoned me in the desert. How dare they, I thought. So I walked back by myself, made my way back to this place, Dingo Falls, which is where we're headed now. A lovely pool of water, right in the desert. There's no reason for it to be there, no river, no falls, like I said, just a pool. An oasis, a lake. But not quite as big as a lake, more of a pond. But still, the water was fresh, so I'm guessing some kind of underwater river situation. So I thought, best to camp here, by the water. Now I know what you're thinking. He doesn't. Camping by water is a very good way to get eaten by crocodiles. But this was a pond. In the desert. There are no crocodiles around there. Do you think I'm stupid?
No. In fact, I confess when it comes to crocodiles, we don't have those back home in London, so I wouldn't know.
In Scotland neither. And thank goodness for it. So I was camping there by the pond, the pool, I should say. I'd already run afoul of the locals, this family, the Slatterys. Like I said, the old man a mean drunk, his son's a bit weird, a bit touched if you ask me, he says, now the most lucid he has ever been. But then, I dropped off to sleep when a light awoke me. At first I thought it was the Slatterys come to drive me off or rob me or worse. But the thing that confronted me was immeasurably more horrible and not remotely human. An effigy of a man. It glowed white and red. Its flesh running off its bones. Its staring eyes cooking in its skull. Its mouth wide open for a scream that was all the more terrible for being silent. It advanced on me. I did what I could. I stood up. I used my training. I was once a Scots Guard, I will have you know. I fought the thing off with all the bravery I could muster. He starts swinging his arms in emulation of pugilism. With a stick, he starts imitating, striking something with a stick. When the hot sun was high overhead, I returned to the camp. I reclaimed my gear, and I left I cannot think that I destroyed the angry spirit. Such a thing is too powerful for a man with base weapons of wood and stone. But I dare say I gave it a chill. I put the willies up that thing. And now that we're coming back at my direction, I got to wonder, is it going to show its face again? Is it gonna come for Mad Ginger for revenge? He's now pointing into the middle distance, as if it's there. He's actually pointing at you, Madeline.
Oh, God. Okay.
Well, if it does, you'll have some company, won't you?
Well, that's what I like to hear. It's good to be among friends for a change. I don't often get conjure. I'm often spending my time in the Grand drinking and smoking and losing myself in the bottle, but it's good to be among friends, eh? He slaps your thigh, Bertie. Eh? He slaps Vic's face. Vic puts a finger up as if to say, watch it.
I chuckle a little, though I have to confess, in my current mental state, there is something about that story that does set me on edge a little. It's awfully specific, a burning effigy of someone. I mean, is that just a spectre of... Why are they here? And again, I'm sure the man's just mad. But you never know. Maybe I need to be on guard here. But I'll try and brush it off for the moment. We see any spirit, we'll tell him, what for and all that, as we say in London.
You're talking bollocks, mate. Hey, what? Bollocks. Balls.
Now, Vic. Just because he saw it doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't there.
He's just regurgitating, or as we like to say in this part of the world, chandering, the story of Bill Buckley and Vern Slattery.
Oh.
Ain't that right, Muldoon? No, I saw it, I felt it with my hands, a chill entered me. It was like I was possessed by a demon, a spectre, the ghost of Christmas past.
I roll my eyes a little. Vic, are you saying that this is an old myth that he's just, it's a story people make up about the Slaggerties and this Bill Buckley fella?
It's not all nonsense. I mean, the Slatteries live out there and they're not very friendly. I mean, who would be living in this part of the world? The thing is, Bill Buckley and Vern were a partnership some decades ago, before I arrived out here. I heard the story, well enough. The two parted company when Vern took an Aboriginal wife. Now, rumour has it the two had a falling out over this liaison, as the French would say, and came to blows. Fact is, Bill Buckley ain't been seen since that falling out, so every now and then, some mad drunk he kicks, my ginger, comes up with a story of seeing the spirit of old Bill Buckley haunting Dingo Falls.
I see. So the moral of the story, like you're all doing a bit of a look, is that if we see the Slaggerties, get ready for trouble.
Slatteries, if you call them slags, they'll take that very badly. It's alright, I struggle with it as well. He claps you on the thigh
If you see people with those names, be on the lookout. Understood.
Now, we'll have to say hello. This is their land. They actually bought it from the government. I mean, right and proper. But this is the last, if you want to call it this, bastion of civilization. This is the last hostel you'll find before you're deep in the outback.
You're kidding me. You have to I look outside, I look at all this space. You're telling me this is like the equivalent of like crossing over someone's lawn back in London?
Well, they got quite a lot of land.
Ugh.
More like crossing over a farmer's field. You can risk it, but if you haven't said hello beforehand, he might shoot you.
I look to Madeline and Jackson, and I just let out a huff. All right, fine. Yeah, whatever. We'll go say hello, and my advice would be everyone keep stum about anything beyond going for a nice walk in the countryside or something.
Hey, don't mention the ghost of Bill Buckley to Vern Slattery, or he'll come for you with an axe.
We definitely, I assure you, I put my hand up, we definitely will not be going on about the ghost of Bill Buckley to the people whose land we want to quickly pass through without any problems.
Aye, you got a wise head on your shoulders there, lad, for an Englisher.
Thank you.
And so, sure enough, by the time the hour is up, Dingo Falls is indeed coming into formation and visibility. Not before time, because the sun has almost set. Great red rocks jut up from a rugged, scalloped ridge. The rock formation in part resembles a wave of surf about to crash down, frozen forever in stone. Madeline, you make a quick assessment that the catchment pool is shielded from quick evaporation by the sun. As you drive by, you can see that above the pool are 3 deep caves. Driving on a little further, you see the rather ignominious series of yet more shacks and a wooden house standing alongside them. Ignominious why? Because all of them look in a state of condemnation. You wouldn't risk staying in something like this at the best of times. You can only be glad that there's not some sandstorm or other storm raging ahead, raging above you, because they would give you very little shelter, would probably be blown away in the breeze, were it to be at all stiff. This is the place. I suggest we say hello to Vern, ask if we can stay in one of his shacks, get some shut-eye, then set off before the sun comes up. Any objections?
No, sounds like a plan. Maybe even Miss Hopper. I'll go over, I'll give her a look, and then I try and just gently close my fist and tap her on the shoulder, trying to raise her spirits, because of course I can totally understand why she's so disconnected. Hey, maybe you could give them your award-winning smile and grace and all that, you know, win them over to us, make sure they know we're no harm and all that. You're good at that?
There's a hard beat, there's a moment of vacancy, and then time catches up. Yeah, I'm happy to help. I have a question for you. I just can't quite wrap my mind around. Why Rupert? What was the point? He wasn't even there in the shop with us that night.
Oh. I look away, look to, the others, and then just lean in. Oh, Madeline, it was just standard message nonsense, love. You want to scare the boys down the road into paying on time. Some people, they won't go for the heavies. They won't go for the person they want to intimidate. They'll go for someone easy, innocent, someone who will hurt. Now, I don't know how I don't think they would have known that much about poor Rupert, but I think they could have seen that. I don't know. They wanted the warning to hurt. You get me, Miss Madeline? And he probably took a bit of a gamble, but it turns out it was a good one, because I'm sure you'd agree that hurt.
This your dead friend, Vic says, climbing out of the back of the truck.
Yes, Vic, yes.
He rubs his chin, stubble already quickly growing. Now that he's on the road again, he sees no need to shave. Nor did you ask for my opinion, I'm just here as a bodyguard.
What is your opinion?
Well, your shack was dark. Why not just stab the first body you come across, right?
I consider that, and I nod. And there is also, blind fate, Miss Hopper.
But it's definitely personal. Definitely personal.
What do you think the message was, Birdie?
That we're on the right track, Miss Hopper. That Shelby, that you were right. That something out there is important. And to leave it alone. Just like what happened to, Miss Dodge back a few years ago. Remember? She said how she was told not to look into this sort of thing. Not to study this sort of thing.
Exactly.
I reckon Mr. Mortimer was... You remember how he was the second we mentioned where we were going?
I remember.
I look at Shelby. We could just be making guesses here, but that's what makes sense to me. Maybe we finally have found someone who's part of this whatever. Like I said, we were too loud.
I still believe that the best way to find out why Rupert died is to find this city.
Okay. What are we doing with the slatteries? What are we...
Slatteries. Apparently you're making introductions, Madeline.
This is going to work out great for everyone, being that Madeline has not paid attention to anything that has happened this entire ride. I'm really excited for everybody.
I go over and I say, yeah, it turns out, just like in, I'm sure they have this in America too, we have got to get permission to fucking cross this massive giant desert, this bit. So, this lot might be suspicious, yeah? So, you sell them a story about how we're just a lovely bunch of travelling performers, or something like that. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them, but we need to make nice, just so we can get through here as quick as possible.
Okay. Are we bribing? Did we discuss a payment? Is there a fee? Is there...
Jackson puts his hand out and says, but if they want to charge us to stay in these shacks, then fine, as long as they're not gouging us. I mean, we can always sleep in the truck.
I nod, saying, yes, Mr. Jackson's got it. If we need to spend some money, we spend some money.
We might be able to pick up some information from them about the way ahead, if this is the last bolt hole before you enter the desert. At least it isn't as crowded as Concudgery.
And again, for the record, I look at Shelby and Madeline. From this point, I don't trust no one other than the people here and on this little group. Maybe I'm being over-paranoid, but that's just my instinct from this point on.
I think it's a great idea.
Agreed. Okay.
Very well, Madeline. Climb down from the truck, make your way to the rickety wooden house of the Slattery family. There is a screen door that you can rap your knuckle on to signal their attention. There's certainly nobody outside. There is a rather sad-looking dog on a lead. It does have shade, given that it is now nighttime and the temperature drops precipitously out here. You can only imagine how long it's been out in the heat.
I think also, at her permission, I would like to accompany Miss Hopper, just in case, so she's not going on her own.
Perfect. And I am definitely going to be proceeding with caution with a potentially delirious, dehydrated, or aggressive dog.
No aggression is forthcoming. The dog just looks miserable.
Poor baby. Okay. It's that standard. I approach, I see a dog, and just everything pauses for a moment. Does this dog see me? Does it perceive me? Does it care about me? Is it moving? No? Okay.
He sees you. He perceives you. He doesn't even beg. Just tail wags left, right, falls flat.
And I will proceed to the door and gently rap. They have to know we're here. That vehicle makes a lot of noise.
Yep, it doesn't take long for the door to open, the interior door. The screen door does not. There is a boy, you'd probably put him at about 10 years old, stood on the other side of the screen door. He has a strange oral attachment. There is a caliper-like device around his face and a harmonica in front of his mouth, through which he is making a noise. He pulls it off of his head. Who are you? What do you want?
There is a definite moment where my disassociation almost clicks into play, with 1, seeing a child, 2, witnessing a child completely unbothered by the fact that I just buried a friend, that I may be burying more. Just that refreshing burst of childlike innocence is almost just enough to almost click me back into place. Almost. And then I quickly realized that I actually don't know where we are, what we're supposed to be doing. But I can yes and through most situations, and I've got Birdie here in case I fumble. But that's like the first part of just like, oh. And it just grounds me, and the smile breaks out across my face. Hi. Are we interrupting your plane? We're so sorry.
As you study him through the gauze of the exterior door, you can make out, even in this darkness, this is a child of a white father and an Aboriginal Australian mother. That's a fair guess, given that you've heard a story now that Vern married an Aboriginal Australian.
That name sounds familiar. Did I hear that recently? I think I did.
You want to stay here?
Is that okay? Is that something you guys offer?
Frank? What? If some people want to stay, well, fucking let them. Well, how much money? How much have they got? They're at the door right now, Frank. Oh, Jesus. A 13-year-old with a voice much deeper than his age would imply. Again, tall, dark, athletic, mixed-race parentage. Pushes the younger boy aside. Fuck's sake, Jacko. Go play your harmonica. He does that quite dutifully. He steps back and starts blowing into the harmonica. There's not much of a tune, it is just air passing through in sharp and dull sounds. How many of you are there then?
I give him the count. 7. Sorry, Frank, 7.
If there's 7 of you, then that's gonna be... He shrugs. 7 shillings?
As someone with no comparative economic analysis right now, is that okay?
I mean, that's damn pricey for staying in a corrugated iron shack barely fit for a pig. But at the same time, there's a thriving free market of hotels out here in the desert.
A shilling per person per night. And I'm just going to look over at Birdie.
Take it or leave it.
Oh, I look back at the kid. This 13-year-old has some balls on him. Good for him. 7 shillings it is.
Sounds like a bargain.
He opens the exterior door, puts his hand out. You choose your own accommodation, he says, gesturing wildly at they're barely even shacks.
Thank you. Has anyone come in recently, or are we going to be the only guests?
You asking questions now?
Yes, I'm asking questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, alright. People come through here every now and then. Most don't like it, but most stay here anyway. But, yeah, some people pass through. Pass me another shilling, I'll tell you about them.
And then I'm just going to look at Birdie with a full, this is now your problem. I'll go let the others know that we have accommodations arranged.
I smirk a little, and I say, yes, well, why not? Looks like this place could use some, it's good to honour the places you go through. That's what my mother always used to tell me. And
if you say so.
And I hand over a shilling from my pocket.
He takes it, pockets it himself, leans in. Yeah, someone passed through, someone stayed here about 4 nights ago.
4 nights ago? Oh, what sort of party was that?
No, just one man. Jeremy Grogan, his name. Passed through here every now and then, likes to head out to the desert, says it gives him vivid dreams.
Jeremy Grogan, eh? Oh, what sort of fellow is he then? Seems, dreams? Does he seem all up there? I tap my head.
Does anybody?
Oh, you're an observant individual.
You some kind of fruit?
No. It's called, Sorry, over the pond we have these silly rules. I keep forgetting they don't have them here.
Yeah, well, if you are, that's going to be another 5 shillings.
I tilt my head and say, "Nah, we're good. We're good. We're just going to stay and be gone by next morning and, well, if we cross paths again on the way back, we'll know the price."
Do you want food?
No, that would be imposing.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't offer it if it was imposing, would I?
How much?
6pence.
Would, a shilling get us something a bit better than the usual stuff?
You get 2 helpings.
Well, have another shilling.
Well, your generosity is noted. I'll let my father know.
Good. All right then. You're obviously a busy young man. We'll leave you be unless there's anything we should be knowing. You got any crocodiles coming out of the lakes round here, right?
He stares at you like you are a fucking moron. No, mate, we're out in the desert. Wrong side of Australia.
Well, thank you. And whilst normally I'd actually be quite irritated by a bloody kid talking to me like this, I actually am happy with this because I'm quite happy for them to believe that we're all just a bunch of morons. That's good. That's what I like, and I've always been quite happy to pretend to be a moron, so I chuckle wholeheartedly. Oh, good to know! Yeah, again, like, that's what we were hoping to see some, but, you know, that's what this is all for, bit of a tourist safari, but you're not interested in that.
No, mate, not really.
Well, good day.
But if you want to speak to me, if you want to bend my ear, you can pay me for it.
Noted. But well, are you saying there's something we should know that's worth paying for?
He thinks about that, swills it around his mouth a little. Man came through here, paid me £1 to keep it silent. A lot of money. If you double that, I think I could be forced to part my lips for you.
I consider the boy very carefully. And then do I have £2? That's a lot of money.
It is. You have £2 but you will then be hard up for the way back. Not that there's going to be many shops in the desert.
That's true. And at this point, well, what am I going to spend it on? Hell, I might not even be coming back. I think to myself, well, not that we're nosy Parkers or anything, but you seem like a trustworthy lad. £2 it is. I reach in, this being the last of the cash I have on me then, and I hand it over and just say, so, yeah, what are these fellas up to?
Well, there's a Yank came through here. Oh, yeah. Has been a few times, always likes it to be kept on the down low. Used to be in Jeremy Grogan's company. Has a few friends with him. They like to travel out to the desert. Very discreet types. I'm guessing they're looking for oil or something. Name of John Carver.
John Carver, you say?
Gotta say, doesn't look like much of an oil man. Not that I've seen more than a few of them, but sometimes you'll get industrialists pass through here, people looking to make their stake on the land. More of a teacher type. Not that I've been to school for 3 years.
How many people was this John Carver travelling with, roughly? What, he was by himself, or a little group of friends?
Last time I saw him, a week, 2 weeks ago, had he and 5 others. They stay in the house rather than in the shacks. He won't accept such rough accommodation.
Fancy fella then.
I think he likes to think he is.
Right.
But in the end, he's out in the desert just like the rest of us.
And you saying he was literally just here 4 or 5 days ago, and he paid you to make sure nobody knew what he was up to? Does sound a bit like an industrialist.
He was a week or two ago. It was Jeremy Grogan who was here 4 nights ago. I did ask him, Mr. Grogan, I said, you trying to catch up with you-know-who? He just shot me a look. He said, I'm still chasing my dreams, son. You keep out of it.
I confess these do sound like awfully strange folks. You're very observant.
Most of the people who come out here are strange folks, mister.
Oh, I hope that doesn't include old me. A grin.
He looks you up and down.
I keep smiling and start to turn away, and then just before I do, just one more thing then. And again, you can tell me if it costs. Because you seem quite good with names. You never heard of a fella called Toddy Randolph, have you? Runs an import company down quite far from here, actually.
He frowns, shakes his head. Now, I realise I could bilk you out of another shilling or so, but truth is I've never heard the name.
Yeah, it's fair enough. All right. Thank you, young man. Don't you worry. We'll be out your hair soon enough.
I'll get Jacko to send some food out for you.
And I head off, chewing this a little in my mind, because this is awfully coincidental. Of all the places in Australia, there's been 2 named individuals, one of them paying this boy to keep them quiet, heading in this direction. It's coincidental, but a coincidence I'm not fond of, and I will go back and I'll just grab Shelby and Madeline just as we head back, and I'll just say, funny story, turns out we're not the first people to be coming down this part recently. Some fella by the name of John Carver was coming through here a couple of weeks ago, paying folks to keep quiet. And apparently he's got a mate called Jeremy Grogan, who was just here 4 days ago, hunting dreams. And they all were heading through here. How coincidental, eh?
Davina, do those names mean anything to you academically?
You have never heard either of those names, and Jackson shakes his head. I've never heard of them. Muldoon just twitches a little. Vic shakes his head. Nah.
Miss Dodge?
Thinking. There's like a great white mystic, you've got to excuse the term, called Jeremy Grogan, published a few papers way back when, said he was just like one of the Aboriginals, said in fact he was more Aboriginal than the Aboriginals. He was one with Australia, was a cause celeb for a little while. Just disappeared off the map. But sounds like the kind of crazy nonsense he'd be up to.
Right. Well, again, I'm sure one of you's going to call me overly paranoid at some point, but when we approach our destination, maybe we don't assume we're going to be alone.
I think that's sensible, says Jackson. And so, you have your dinner, which is nothing special, it's fair to say. Very plain, very beige, but it fills a hole, especially as all of you get 2 helpings each. Vic and Mad Ginger, for their part, seem to relish the meal, although Mad Ginger keeps looking over in the direction of Dingo Falls and muttering about the ghost. And so as you turn in for the night, the idea that the investigators are sleeping with one eye open now, are you doing the age-old tradition of sleeping in shifts?
Yes.
Yes, that's the thing now. We're taking watches.
Okay, then. It's been a long drive. Who's taking first watch?
I'll take first watch.
Who would like to volunteer for that? You would like to volunteer, Bertie?
Yes.
Good for you. Make a con roll.
77 is a failure over 55. I can't spend the luck for that. Or, well, Can I spend a luck to reroll?
Yeah, you can spend luck on a characteristic roll, though be aware that you could risk critical failure if you push your luck, so it's up to you.
I think at this stage, no, I'll do my best to keep watch, but it's the first watch, someone else is supposed to take watch after me, so if I If I do fucking fall asleep, at least it's not the end of the world, but I am trying not to fall asleep, god damn it.
Indeed, it's not the end of the world, and maybe the thing that's passing through your head is all the times you had to stand on watch when you were in the trenches, and the weather beat down on you, the shells were exploding, it was impossible to sleep then, and yet somehow, sometimes, the exhaustion overpowered the sense of imminent death. So it is here. The exhaustion, you've travelled a long way. Hell, you're on the other side of the world. And this past day you've been just driving through the desert in intense heat. And now you've just had 2 servings of a frankly stodgy, heavy meal. It has an effect on the body, Bertie. It makes your eyes droop. It makes your eyelids close. It sends you into a slumber. Which means you do not wake up. When the truck arrives, not directly adjacent to yours, on the other side of Dingo Falls, but close enough that if you had been awake you would have spotted it. And you do not wake up as one of the inhabitants of said truck starts making their way towards you. And that is where we shall conclude our session.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play Masks of Nyarlathotep for Chaosium's Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. Joining us as our keeper is none other than our dear friend Matthew Dawkins, and we were also joined by Bridgett, Jeffries, and Eddy Webb. The music was made by Aegersonus and Halgrath, and we have also used Cryochamber's Lovecraftian compilation albums. All of this was used with permission from Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody dark ambient for your gaming table. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Simon Cooper, Julia, Bob Lange, Cameron, Graham Barey, Doug Thomson, Lily, Maciej, Black Templar, Dennis Sadecki, Leonhardt, Britt, and Nikola for their generous support. And we'd of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult of Divinity Lost, Call of Cthulhu, Blade Runner, and Warhammer 40k there. And you can also get early and raw access to all of our recordings, and hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as even play some Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember, I am the last. I will tell the audient void.